Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We're going to be talking about Caramel Sundays Pistachio Pecan Pudding. This is one of their standard 2-wick vessels. There is approximately 18 ounces of 100% soy wax. These are poured in Monroe, Georgia, hand poured, I should say. This is a small business, and I have been purchasing from this brand since November 2024. Clearly, I keep coming back and purchasing from them month after month. So you can tell I've been pretty happy with the brand, and I feel like they're starting to catch some steam. So it's important for me to go ahead and give some reviews on these candles as I'm burning through them. So I will talk about at the end of this review how Caramel Sunday's business model operates, because I still think that there's some of you guys, when you watch these reviews, you've been a little bit confused. I've had a couple of comments saying I went to the website and it says sold out, or I can't even find it. I will touch on that at the end of this review, but for those of you who are already familiar with their business model, I don't want to bore you at the beginning of the video. So this candle I did purchase in the February 2025 restock. So therefore, I believe that this candle was likely poured somewhere around mid-February 2025. We have fragrance notes on this candle of top notes of pistachio and creamy almond, mid notes of vanilla pudding, base notes of candied pecans, and brown sugar. So funny thing is, you guys, this was one of the candles that I was kind of on the fence about going into that February restock. I was intrigued by the fragrance notes, but truthfully, we're also coming into a time of year where I am kind of gravitating away from a lot of these like more gourmand fragrances, and I'm leaning more towards like florals and maybe some fresh, some citrus, those types of fragrances. However, at the last restock, I remember just wandering, as we tend to do sometimes, scrolling late at night. And I happened to notice that this candle was still in stock. And I was like, okay, I guess it's meant to be, because the more I looked at the fragrance notes, I was like, that does appeal to me. Now, here's the thing, you guys. When this candle arrived, I thought that it smelled a little bit light on cold, but I did really like the fragrance. What I smell when this candle is burning is a little bit different than on cold. On cold, I definitely got kind of that like, there was like a nuttiness to it. I got a creamy element, definitely that vanilla pudding accord. But I'm going to tell you guys, the first time I lit this candle up, it very much surprised me, because the note that came out a lot in this candle was, yes, you got the nuttiness of pistachio and creamy almond, which, by the way, if you've caught any of my other reviews, personally, I think that Caramel Sundays nails a pistachio note. I love the way that they do pistachio fragrances. But the funny thing is that the first time I lit this candle up, what really came out after about an hour into the burn was that candied pecan fragrance. Like, think about in the fall when a lot of people love Bath and Body Works, what is it, their pumpkin pecan waffles. That pecan note comes out, and that's still what I smell a lot of the time in this candle. Do I think it overtakes and overpowers the other elements of this candle? No, but to me, honestly, the longer that I burn this, which would make sense, especially if it's a base note, those base notes come out the longer that you're burning a candle. When you see a top note, that's usually the first fragrance that you're going to smell as the candle is opening. In the burn, the mid notes are there kind of more towards the middle of the burn, and the longer that you burn, those base notes are going to start to come out. And so the pecan note was really coming out. However, now as I'm burning this, and you can see, I've only got maybe about a quarter of the wax left in this vessel. My nose still detects pecan, but I still do smell that like vanilla pudding. It's like when I make that like instant Jello, vanilla pudding. That's what it smells like to me. This is a very nice, creamy, gourmand fragrance. I have loved pairing this with their iced carrot cake candle. For whatever reason, the fragrance notes in that iced carrot cake, that one has a little bit more spice and whatnot in it, but the pecan note mixed with that like that creamy vanilla pudding accord in here. And again, there's a little bit of sweetness of almond in here as well. It's not just straight up pecan. Like I said, the pecan is what my nose is smelling, but it's not like overly artificial pecan. Just a very, very nice fragrance. I am very, very happy that I picked up this candle. I honestly didn't see myself burning it this much during this time of year. However, once I started pairing it with the iced carrot cake, and I just love that combination. And by the way, you guys, when I say that I pair a candle, I'm not burning two candles in the same room. What I mean by that is that usually I'm burning a candle out in my open concept living room, and then I'm burning another fragrance in my master bedroom. And as I move from room to room, I like the fragrances to complement each other. I don't want them to clash. So that's what I mean when I say that I'm burning fragrances together. I'm not actually burning them like in the same room, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of provide some further clarity on it. Overall, you guys, this fragrance, it's unique, but also not so outside of the box conceptual that my mind is having a hard time picking out the fragrance notes. Very, very well done. I really, really like the fragrance. I hope that they bring this one back. I know right now, I'm not sure when I'm planning to upload this review. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading it prior to the March restock or afterwards. I'm doing a little bit of pre-filming, and honestly, the reason why I was like, oh, I better film this one is because I see myself finishing up this candle before the end of March. So I thought, well, I better get a review in before this one puts itself out. But what I am saying is that if this candle does come back in a restock, I would definitely give it 2 thumbs up. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the performance. So as you can see, I'm at about a quarter of the wax left here. It's funny, in the like viewfinder here, or like, yeah, as I'm looking at this, it's interesting because the candle vessel looks a little bit darker and sootier than it does appear to me in real life. It's kind of interesting. But like I said, this is a 100% soy wax formula. First burn of this candle, well, first off, you can see that these are 100% organic cotton wicks. I do tend to try to trim them every 2 to 3 hours. I've kind of gotten away from things today personally. I was having a lot of fun doing my taxes. If any of you guys have done that yourself, you guys know how time consuming and fun that can be. So I have been a little bit distracted today, but the wicks are still performing quite well for me. And really, you're not even seeing a ton of excess carbon there. Like I could trim those wicks if I wanted to, but really I don't need to. There is some wick residue falling into the wax pool, but it is not altering the fragrance at all. Strength and throw on this candle has kind of I would say moved around a little bit. So I mentioned that the first burn of this candle really surprised me. And one of the things that surprised me was, like I said, it was a little bit light on cold sniff. So I anticipated this candle to be a lighter candle. So I lit it up in my master bedroom. I actually had to run some errands the morning that I first lit this up. And by errands, I'm saying like I went to my yoga class for an hour and came back. My teenage daughter was home. And when I pulled my car into the garage, I could smell this candle outside. I was like, whoa, that candle is throwing pretty strong. I only lit it about 2 hours ago, which is quite frankly a little bit unusual for me to receive or to get a 100% soy wax candle to throw that strong on the first burn. Usually I have found with a lot of caramel sundaes, and this is usually the case with Kringle too, they have a lot of similarities in terms of like their wax formula. They're also committed to like being phthalate and paraben free. So they're like, these candles that are non-tox and in a 100% soy formula, the way that they operate is going to be very different than say like your Goose Creek or your Bath and Body Works, even sometimes your Homeworks candles. But anyways, I was surprised that it was throwing so well. I mean, it was throwing probably like a good 8.5, 9. It was throwing well. Strength on it, I would say, was probably about a 7.5. It was definitely noticeable, but not so sweet and so strong that it was cloying. Then the next couple of burns I noticed on this candle that I felt like it started to tone down a little bit in terms of the strength of it and even the throw. I would say that the average strength and throw on this candle for me, I'm going to give it about a 7, because what I'm noticing now that it's down like beyond like that like third of the way, I have noticed that I feel like even though I can still smell this candle, the throw is not as high. I would give it probably about a 6 today. Like as this candle is burning right now, I can still smell it very well in a closed concept master bedroom. But when I've been burning it out in my open concept living room, I can only smell it if I'm sitting kind of closer to it, like not hovering over it, but like let's say within like 8 feet of it. I can still smell it, but again, it doesn't seem as strong or as noticeable. Maybe also I'm going a little bit nose blind to it. There's also that possibility. But I would just say that my average performance on this one has been around a 7 for me, which quite frankly is doing a lot better than I thought it would do, based off of my cold sniff again, I thought it was pretty light. And I think what is kind of saving it and giving it a little bit higher performance is that pecan note in here. But it's funny, even right now, as I'm sitting here smelling it, I'm getting those wafts of vanilla pudding mixed with a nuttiness. Oof. It's really, really good, you guys. I definitely hope that they bring this one back, maybe in like a 4-wick. That would be great. Really, really nice fragrance. I could actually see myself repurchasing this for maybe like the fall and pairing it with like a pumpkin fragrance. This to me is more of a fall fragrance, so I wouldn't see myself burning it anymore like going into the spring or summer. If you are somebody who likes year-round gourmands, then you're going to like this fragrance. So overall, you guys, this candle does get 2 thumbs up from me. I do really, really like it. Again, don't expect it to be this like powerhouse, fill up your whole house. It's not the truffle butter cookie fragrance, but it is still definitely noticeable and enjoyable. So like I said, I don't think that this one is in the March restock. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with caramel sundaes, I have done a couple of videos about them, but their business model is a little bit different than some of the other candle brands that a lot of us typically shop for, where the availability is all the time. This brand, what they do is that once a month, they have what they call their monthly restock, which means that about 3.5 weeks prior to them making these candles, I would say, go live, they basically announce over on Instagram what candles they will be including in their restock. So for example, the March restock is taking place on Sunday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There is a code to text the word candle to get on their like early access, and by that means that they give you about 2 minutes prior to them opening up the website for purchases. So I would highly recommend you sign up for those. All that information will be in the description box down below for you, by the way. And so what you're going to want to do is sign up for those text alerts. When you get the alert, you go to the website, you enter the access code. And then what you want to do is you do not want to go on and peruse the site, because you will miss out on candles. This is kind of like Hunger Games style. You have to know what you want when the sale goes live. You go in, add everything to your cart, get in, get out of there. So that is typically how their business model runs. Again, that is what works best for them. However, prior to their restock, they will have the candles listed on their website. So if you go to the Caramel Sundaes website, for example, right now, you're not going to find this candle on their website because this is not going to be part of the March restock. If it's going to be part of their April restock, then you will see it pop up on there. Typically, they will announce what candles will be poured for their monthly restock within, I would say, like 3 days after their monthly restock. So to clarify that, so like I would anticipate that probably by like March 25th, March 26th, we're going to be seeing what candles are going to be offered and in what formats for their April restock. We'll know what date they're going to release things in April, but they do try to get up at least, I would say usually 3 weeks before their restock. They will try to make sure that all of the candles that are going to be available, you'll go to their website, you'll see them on there, you'll be able to look at the fragrance notes, but they're all going to say sold out. And what that means is that you're just not able to purchase them yet, but come the time where their restock goes live, then you will be able to repurchase them. But like I said, you guys, you want to make sure that you know what you want. Don't go at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the day of their restock and peruse around and think, what do you want? You have to have your wish list together and know exactly what you want to get prior to the sale going live. So anyways, I know that that's a lot of information, but I have had a couple of you guys reach out and say, like, after you've watched these, you've been like, they're showing sold out. And so I thought that I would just go ahead and clarify that is how this candle brand tends to operate. I know that business model is not for everybody, but that is what works for the business owners. And truthfully, it's their business. They can do what they want. They seem to be having a lot of success. I don't mind purchasing from them. There have been times where I've missed out on candles that I've wanted. But for the most part, I would say like 80% of the time I have been able to purchase the candles that I wanted. So anyways, you guys, please comment down below if you were able to purchase this candle in the February restock. What has your experience been? Feel free to hit the thumbs up button if you found this video helpful. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new and you like candle content. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.